Since Pixar ended the Toy Story franchise back 3 years ago, everybody's been wondering where is the franchise going to be headed next. Well, we have a spinoff on one of its main characters, Buzz Lightyear. So Friday, I went to go see Buzz Lightyear. I know this review is late, but at the time of me recording this, I have just seen Jurassic World Dominion, so I kind of wanted to get my thoughts together about that before I recorded the intro and the outro for this video, but this review has been recorded since Sunday. But with that being said, guys, comment down below, what did you think of Lightyear? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you find it mid? Comment all of that down below in the comment section. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter that's going to pop up on your screen right now. And also, please know that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My name is SW Nation. And with that being said, let's get right into our review.
Buzz Lightyear mission log, stardate 3901. After a full year of being marooned, our first hyperspeed test flight is a go.
Who are you talking to?
No one.
As Lightyear being in my top 10 list for most anticipated movies of 2022, I had a lot of hype going inside of this film, and as a fan of the Toy Story franchise. So with that being said, let's move right into the good. And the good thing that comes to mind here is that since this film was announced, I have been exciting and rooting for it. Now, a lot of people can say that we don't need a Lightyear film. The Toy Story franchise is done. Wait, why are they doing a Lightyear film? Is this a spinoff or is this a sequel? It's none of that. It is the movie that Andy went to go see back in 1995, which is why he was so excited to get the Buzz Lightyear toy, because he went to go see this movie. This is that movie, and they open up with that. It's not a spoiler at all. I think if you closed off the Toy Story franchise and not do any more sequels as a company, Pixar is not doing any more sequels. I'm glad that they ended the sequels off with Toy Story 4. It seemed fitting for them. I respect that. So obviously, I think that the next step would be a Buzz Lightyear spinoff if you want to continue the franchise without actually being a sequel. And I think that works so well, and inherently, that character is someone you could do a spinoff for. So obviously, since I grew up on Toy Story, my butt was in the seat hype. So for the good, I would say the concept and the idea of this film works for me. The idea of this sci-fi adventure of this space ranger really works for me. While watching the film, Chris Evans just embodies this version of Buzz Lightyear. Now, he's not Tim Allen. I don't think anybody can beat Tim Allen, but I definitely think that Chris Evans came close. Chris Evans was really great in this role, and when I heard his voice, I heard this version of Buzz Lightyear. Chris Evans embodies this version of Buzz by giving us a more confident and smart but also flawed character. Buzz's arc in this film is interesting as a man who just can't give up, who can't settle and take defeat and humility. His pride is a defining point, and I like that. The fact that he has so much pride for the name Space Ranger, the fact that he feels so guilty and that he wants to get his team out of this situation that they're in and will do everything to do it. He ends up losing most of his relationships with his friends, and I think that's interesting as a guy who just can't give up. And I really like that. That's that clever, mature Pixar writing that just gives these films an edge. I also really love the look of this film. Now, it does have the same budget as Toy Story 4. Personally, I think Toy Story 4 looks the best. I think it still is the best looking Pixar film. No, the Pixar film comes close. But Lightyear looked incredible on the big screen. The space scenes, awesome. The action scenes, awesome. I think everything, when they were trying to go bigger with the action and the scope of it all, on the big screen, you will have a blast. It looks so great, and it felt so good seeing a Pixar film in theaters again, because the last one I saw in theaters was 12 years ago in Toy Story 3. I had not seen a Pixar film since 2010. So I really like that. For my experience, that is, it came full circle. 12 years ago, I went to go see Toy Story 3, and then 12 years later, I went to go see another Toy Story film, because I didn't get to see Toy Story 4 in theaters. I also think that the world that they created in this film is interesting as well. On to the really good stuff, nostalgia. Obviously, this film is going to have a lot of nostalgia. The moment you meet Buzz Lightyear, this is not a spoiler, but the moment you meet Buzz Lightyear, they introduce him along the same lines of the way that they introduced him back in 1995. For me, that pulled on my heartstrings. I wouldn't say that I cried, because I know a lot of people probably cried in the first 30 minutes. I wouldn't say that I cried, but there are a lot of emotional beats inside of this film that will get a lot of people emotional. And I think that little edge right there is some of the magic. The clever writing, the animation, and the magic touch that is emotion that they put inside of these Pixar films. I think that's what makes this company well liked. Also, I think it's easy to follow and easy to digest. I feel like with Turning Red, it probably been a little bit more divisive. Soul, a little bit more divisive as well. I feel like Luca and Lightyear are two of the Pixar films of recently that have come out that are probably the easiest to follow, probably the easiest to digest. And I think Lightyear is the easiest out of all these Pixar films that's come out since Toy Story 4. I think that's the easiest one. Socks, Socks is in a category of his own. Socks was hilarious. He was fantastic as a character. I'm not a cat person, I'm a dog person, but Socks as a character, that robotic cat, I loved Socks as a character. So hilarious. I just loved him. I think the intergalactic space adventure was actually pretty cool, and in concept it was pretty cool. The idea of it was very cool. I think the idea of what they were trying to go for with the space adventure, I think the idea of that is what really got me excited. But this film isn't without its problems. When I walked out of the movie, I felt I literally said to my friends, I looked at my friends, and they know that I was very excited for this film. I looked at my friends and I said, this movie was mid. So with that being said, let's move right into the bad. And the bad thing that comes to mind here is that I found this film incredibly boring for a while. There was a part in the middle. The first act was pretty great. The third act was alright. But the middle act, I found it to be a little bit boring, very cliche, very familiar overall. I mean, like I said, the film is easy to digest, but the interesting thing about this film was going on the sci-fi adventure with the Space Ranger. But for some reason, the side characters I just didn't care for. As this being an origin for Buzz Lightyear, or Buzz Lightyear the Space Ranger, or the origin of his suit, I should say, because it's not really an origin of Buzz Lightyear. He doesn't grow into Buzz Lightyear. He is Buzz Lightyear already. Like, that's his name, Buzz Lightyear. He doesn't become a Space Ranger in this movie. He's already a Space Ranger the moment we meet him. So it's like he doesn't go through any trials or tribulations to become a Space Ranger. There's not enough intergalactic adventure. There's not enough sci-fi adventure. A lot of people will say that this was a sci-fi adventure, and for me, I feel like, okay, yeah, because they're on a different planet and because they're going through space with robots, I feel like that's why people will say that, sci-fi is all over it was intergalactic adventure. Another thing is, I really found this to be a safe Pixar film. While it is a risk to make a film about Buzz Lightyear, it is a risk to make a spin-off from the Toy Story franchise without any of the other toys in there, to make it strictly about the film that Andy watched. It's very safe. I found it to be a very safe bet. And I think maybe I should have already predicted that the moment they announced Lightyear. Okay, we did Toy Story 4. We're done with the franchise. We're not doing any sequels anymore. Safe bet is Lightyear. Let's do a spinoff about Buzz Lightyear. That's a safe bet. Easy money right there. Because it's riding off the coattails of the Toy Story franchise. But gosh, I found the plot to be fairly familiar. And overall, it's played as a safe bet. Zurg, I didn't really care for. I didn't really care for this villain. I was excited to see Zurg because number one, I loved him in Toy Story 2. Now, I thought that bringing him inside of this film, making him the ultimate foil of Buzz Lightyear, and I thought that, when the twist happened, this was going to be everything. It was going to connect right back to Toy Story 2, being I am your father. And they did do a sweet little reference to that, but the twist itself, I didn't really care for. Because the twist was Zurg. Whatever goes on with Zurg, that is the twist when you ultimately see the movie. Every Pixar film has that interesting twist. This film's twist, I didn't really care for. But those are my big negatives. That's a big way on the film for me, because the side characters are the ones that you're supposed to grasp onto. You're supposed to like. One of them is just a clumsy character that I really didn't care for. One of them is just a cool granny that, been into the jail system a couple times. Yeah, I've seen that before. And then the other one is the girl who's not sure of herself until she finds out that she is sure of herself in the end. It's so cliche. It's so predictable. It's so familiar. I found where this movie was going a mile away. And to be honest, if this is the movie that Andy saw, I don't understand how that made him excited to get a Buzz Lightyear doll. Maybe it depends on how old Andy was. He probably was like 7 or 8 when, the Lightyear movie came out. But if this is the movie that he saw, I don't see why he would be excited to get a toy from the movie. I feel like he would get excited from a different Lightyear movie, one with a little bit more action than, this one that has an actual character arc for the character. Or they could have just mashed the two up. Have more action, better twist, keep the same clever writing for Lightyear and the same emotion as it was in the first act, and change up the second act so it can lead a little bit more efficiently into the third act. But definitely switch up the twist. In conclusion, Lightyear was for sure better than Turning Red, for sure better than Luca, better than Onward, but I don't think it was better than Soul. It wasn't up there in terms of quality that the Toy Story franchise has established. And I would say as a spinoff, Lightyear was fine. It was okay. I walked out of the movie saying it was mid. I think it's grown on me a little bit more. But I think that my opinions still stand that the sci-fi aspects and the inherent idea of it is great. And I think Chris Evans is great as this version of Buzz Lightyear, as a confident, more smart Buzz Lightyear that actually has flaws. I think that's interesting. But I found the film at the end of the day a little disappointing. I walked out of it being a little bit disappointed. I would have to say Lightyear, I would have to say it's a B minus. I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go in middle of the road here. I'm gonna go B, and then I'm gonna go at 8 out of 10. And I would say if you love the Toy Story franchise, and if you are already planning on checking this movie anyway, go ahead and check it out, because I feel like it's gonna tug at a lot of people's heartstrings. I feel like a lot of people are gonna really like it. It's different from Turning Red. It's different from Luca. It's different from the other Pixar films. Gorgeous animation, all of that. But to the ones who aren't excited for it and who are just looking at the reviews, I would say wait till it comes on streaming. And I hate saying that because this is the first Pixar film since Onward to have a theatrical release. And the fact that I was so excited for this film and I walked out disappointed, that hurts me. But even though I was disappointed, I still give it a B. I still give it an 8. Because there is some enjoyment to get out of it. It's just that second act was what really dragged the film down for me. I should have saw Jurassic World Dominion instead. Alright guys, that is it for the review. Like I just said in the summary section, I should have seen Jurassic World Dominion instead. Well, come to find out, almost a day later, I saw Jurassic World Dominion. So that's why this review is a little bit late. I was going to upload it yesterday, but then I went to go see Jurassic World Dominion instead. But please don't forget to check out that Twitter that's going to pop up on your screen right now. And also comment down below, what did you think of Lightyear? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you find it mid? With that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't forget to come back later for the Toy Story films ranked. And with that being said, guys, and I will see you all next time. Peace.